So I'm just going to fold this up and then... Have you seen a stapler anywhere?
A stapler? No.
Well, I need a stapler. There was one here earlier.
Glynn?
Oh, what is that?
There's my stapler.
Right, that's it. James, give him a warning.
There it is.
Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either.
Thank you.
For fans of The Office, that one, they'll get it. Right.
So we're just going to put a little bit of staple in the edge. That's just to hold it. Thank you very much.
Can I have a spoon, please?
Can you have a spoon?
I'll dig it out for you.
Right, so the muscles are on. Good morning, you're not dreaming. It really is 9:15, so wake up and get the coffee on and enjoy our menu of mouth-watering recipes from some of the world's best chefs. Let's get cooking. This is Saturday Kitchen Live. And welcome to the show. I'm joined by two of the country's most most talented chefs. First, the Birmingham man with a Michelin star and an army of food fans across the nation. Yes, it's the yummy brummy himself, Mr. Glynn Purnell. And next to him is a new face to Saturday Kitchen. She's the head chef of the iconic Savoy Grill restaurant here in London, the place where the great Escoffier himself once cooked. Those are big shoes to fill, of course. It's Kim Woodward. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
But Glynn, I think you're throwing away. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to do a little play on Maryland. So I'm doing a guinea fowl Maryland.
Now, this is a classic dish, isn't it? Really?
It's a classic dish, but it's been... I've Purnelled it.
Right.
Yeah, and we've got this really strange sort of banana going on with the sweet corn. It's a great dish.
But it's banana and sweet corn and generally chicken, would you say, really?
Yeah, it's normally chicken, but this is guinea fowl, so lightly spicy, but also we're going to deep fry the banana, we're going to caramelise some of the sweet corn in a bit of birch syrup, so something a little bit different.
That's a bit fancy. Kim, what are you going to be making?
I'm going to be making a wild sea bass en papiette with some pumpkin, some steamed mussels and a beautiful clementine hollandaise.
Now, in essence, it's really simple a dish, but the secret is cooking in this bag, this in
Definitely.
paper.
It's a little French technique, cooking in the bag, the aroma when it comes to the room.
There you go. There's two delicious dishes from our chefs that sound even tasty at 9:15 in the morning. There's also some classic archive servings from the great Rick Stein, those hairy bakers, the fabulous Mary Berry and the great Antonio Carluccio to look forward to. Now, our special guest today is probably one of the most recognisable actors on television. After his unforgettable performances in The Office alongside Ricky Gervais, he's gone on to work with Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean and Steven Spielberg in his movie The Adventures of Tintin. He's back on the small screen at the moment in the second series of the award-winning BBC comedy show Detectorists. Please welcome Saturday Kitchen. It's Mackenzie Crook. Great to have on the show, Mackenzie.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Now, are you a big foodie then, or do you get...
Oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm a big lad. I like food, yeah.
But do you get time to cook much or not?
I do cook, yeah. I enjoy cooking. Yeah, I've only sort of recently learnt, well, I say recently since becoming a dad, I suppose, but no, I enjoy it.
Now, talking about the series that you're involved in, I mean, you're doing a bit of everything, really. Writing, directing, acting in it as well.
Yeah.
Second series, award-winning series as well.
Yeah.
What's that like, doing a bit of everything, really?
It's brilliant. It actually feels like, I don't know, the first time in years that I've properly worked hard, you know? Yeah, I've had to, you know, I wrote it, I directed it, and, you know, I have to go in every day. Actors aren't usually used to going in every single day and working the whole day through. So
but we're going to talk about the programme when it's on a little bit later, but you're here to obviously talk about food and taste food at the end of the show. Now, of course, at the end of today's programme, I'll either cook food heaven or food hell for Mackenzie. It's up to our studio guests, our chefs over there, and some of our viewers to decide what you'll be having at the end of the show. So food heaven, what would it be?
I've said lobster, or really any crustacea.
OK. So
yeah.
Why lobster, then, in particular?
I don't know, when I was a kid, it was always this unattainable thing that only the very richest people ate. And when I tried it eventually, yeah, it lived up to its expectations. And, yeah, that's the thing I would normally choose.
And what about the dreaded food hell, then?
Well, controversially, slightly, I've gone for fruit.
Fruit. Right across the board.
Yeah.
All fruit.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of fruit.
Yeah, vegetables I'm a big fan of, and that's how I get my vitamin intake, but fruit I can do without.
Oh, there you go. So get rid of all fruit. So it's either lobster or a classic fruit dessert for food heaven. I'm going to use the lobster to make an absolute classic, a lobster tortellini. The pasta is filled with lobster meat and some fresh basil and some chives, and it's blanched and served with a sauce made from chicken stock, carrots, celery, garlic, brandy, cream, and the lobster shells, and it's finished off with chopped tomato, chives, and a little samphire to go with it as well. Or Mackenzie could be facing food hell. Fruit in the form of a dessert that I think a lot of people would be on their food heaven list. It's a steamed apple sponge pudding with custard. I'm going to add Bramley apples to some golden syrup, and top it with a classic lemon and vanilla sponge batter. Steam it for a couple of hours and serve it with the plum and pear compote and a piping hot custard. How does that sound?
Sounds right, apart from the apples, pears, and...
Yeah, apart from everything else today. But you have to wait to the end of the show to find out which one will Mackenzie be getting. Now, if you'd like to ask a question to either our chefs today, you can do that by calling this number. That's 0330 123 1410. That's 0330 123 1410. And if you wish to put your questions to us live a little later on. And don't forget, if I get to speak to you, they'll be asking you whether you want Mackenzie to face food heaven or food hell at the end of the show. Now, you can also send us your questions through social media now using hashtag Saturday Kitchen. Right, hungry?
Yes, starving.
We'll get the food over in about 8 minutes. Let's cooking first is the fantastic Glynn Purnell with Maryland, a classic dish that is about to be pennelled.
So we're gonna basically when I come on the show, I like to do something a little bit different and try challenge myself as well. So
challenge yourself and me, I think, by the looks of things.
Mainly you as well. Yeah. So basically, we've got a guinea fowl, which you could use pheasant this time of year, but chicken is what you normally use. Yeah. So we're going guinea fowl, which is a step closer to the game. So this is like an introduction to something a little bit more gamey.
But it's not as strong, of course, as
no.
things like pheasant and partridge and grouse and that kind of stuff. But it's a good start if you want to make that transition
Exactly.
across.
So we're just going to take the legs off.
Right.
And then...
Do you want to explain what I'm going to be doing?
Yeah, if you want, for me, James, can you start making a bit of a sweet corn puree? So we've got some sweet corn there, some cauliflower, a little bit of butter. And if we just bring that up to temperature, let's crack that off there, and then just roast it down and we'll puree it. Okay. So the guinea fowl, I'm just going to take the breasts off, and then we're going to roll it in some spices. We've got a bit of Cajun spice, some paprika, and a bit of powdered ginger, just to give the outside a little bit of a kick. I always like a bit of spice coming from Birmingham.
Is that why you've got this spice in there? Because traditionally it would be just the sweet corn and the banana.
Yeah, normally, yeah, and also normally it's basically it would be it'd be a sweet corn fritter, but we're going to do the banana as the fritter. But I'll show you that when we get closer to it. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit dangerous, but I like to live on the edge, even when eating bananas.
Yeah,
right. So I've got my guinea fowl breasts.
Yeah.
So we just take them down. So I've left the thigh on, the thigh bone on.
Now, it's great to roast whole, isn't it, guinea fowl, as well?
It is. You could do this whole, but I thought first introduction to guinea fowl, cook it like a chicken, and then people sort of will appreciate that.
Yeah.
OK, so...
Have you tried guinea fowl before?
I don't think I have, no.
Never had it? So, it is actually, you know, it looks like pheasant when you see it like that, because the corn that it's fed on as well.
That's right, yeah. So we've got that. In another hot pan, James, I'm going to caramelise me some sweet corn, which I'm going to actually glaze with birch syrup.
Right.
Okay.
Which is this stuff. We've never had this on Saturday Kitchen, so what is this?
So it's birch syrup. It's the same as maple, but it's obviously from a birch tree. And this guy knocked on the back door, come and saw me and said, Glynn, use this. And it's originally from Estonia. Right. So I don't know whether it was lost or whether he got his Google Maps wrong, but it's Estonian. Yeah, so I'm going to put the...
So a guy from Estonia knocked on the back door of Purnell's in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Selling this?
Selling me that, yeah. But he wasn't Estonian, he was a Brummie, I think. He was an Estonian...
Is it edible? Have we tested this before?
It's won awards.
All right.
Absolutely delicious. It's a little bit more bitter than maple syrup. It's still got that sweet flavour, but it's... Sorry, let me just grab that there. So we've got a hot pan. So, and we'll colour the guinea fowl breast with our spice on.
Yeah.
A little bit of seasoning. And we're going to... What Maryland does say, the classical dish on Maryland, is the only bit that I'm paying attention to, is the fact that it's a cream gravy. So we're going to get these guinea fowl breasts into the oven, then we're going to make a beautiful... with it.
Now, it's all about the banana as well, isn't it, really?
Exactly, so...
Yeah. Right, so that's the puree, so we basically
so whack that in there.
Okay, this has got the... Why the cauliflower in with it?
It just gives it a nice, smooth consistency. Okay. You could put potato in there if you wanted, as well. That gives it a nice consistency. Right, so now, there's 2 times in this dish where you could have to wear a crash helmet. This is the first one.
Thank you, yeah.
Like I said to you, I said you could need a crash helmet. Wow.
Yeah, right.
There's a leak in the roof. There's definitely a hole anyway. Right, so once that's burnt out...
That's taking the hairs off, look!
And I thought it was a guinea fowl that was caramelising. Right.
Look, smell! Isn't it?
It smells like pork, James. You smell like crackling. Right, OK. Don't touch me, I'm dangerous. Right, OK. So...
Get it in the oven.
He's going in the oven. Okay, step back. Step back. Right,
I can't believe you burnt the hairs off my arms.
So, the guinea fowl's in the oven. James is in hospital, and we're going to carry on. So, we've got our 2 guinea fowl breasts here. We're going to deglaze our pan. A little bit of stock.
So what's the other thing?
Right, so, James, this is the next stage. So, we're going to basically need to caramelise that as best as possible. We want it almost scorched, finish with butter, and then we're going to throw the birch syrup to glaze it all up, so almost get this sticky, toffee sort of flavour to it.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of stock reducing there, which we're going to deglass the guinea fowl pan.
Okay.
Which has got the spice, been cooked for about 8-9 minutes and rested. This is the next dangerous trick.
Right.
This is the next dangerous. Right, so we're going to basically. Now it's really important. The banana needs to be black. This is a great way of using. Right. You know the bananas in the basket, and they're just sort of like you throw them away because you think they're too ripe.
Yeah.
It's dry. It's room temperature, and it's going in the fryer, skin on.
Right. Without bursting the skin?
Yeah. So don't pierce the skin because it will explode. So in there we go. Now, I'm going to leave you to watch that.
Oh, jeez, that's very much.
I'm going to go back over here. Right, so we've got a bit of stock in there. This is our gravy, so
when is it ready, then? When the skin...
You'll hear when it's ready. You'll definitely know when it's ready.
Again in the next 2 minutes, but remember, if you'd like to put your questions through either our chefs, you can call us now this number. That's 033 0123 1410. 033 0123 1410, and calls are charged at your standard network rate. Right.
Right, so get that caramelised up. I've got a little bit of the reduction, which is the cream, which I'm deglazing the pan. Bit of stock, bit of butter, bit of cream. Now we'll move these over here.
I mean, you've got to be careful with this.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. How's that looking now? That's it.
Right, OK.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
And then obviously watch it when you're doing the flambe. Don't stand near it like what I did.
No, don't stand too close to it. Right, so, and our sauce.
So this birch syrup, it's a bit like maple syrup then, isn't it, really?
Exactly, a little bit like maple.
Ready.
Lift it up, that's it. How's that? That's it. Take it. Take it out. Sorry, Mackenzie, we're not normally like this.
Happy with that? Right.
OK, right, so there's our sauce.
More of this birch syrup.
OK, so caramelise that up.
That's done.
Our sauce is ready. So we've got a few... I'm going to start to think about dressing the dish.
Now, if we don't have that guy wandering around selling that around your house, maple syrup.
I mean, you can buy it online, I think, but I'm not sure. But if not, you can use maple syrup. If not, finish the sweet corn with a little bit of brown sugar, a bit of muscovado even, because that melts quite quickly.
OK.
So you've got a couple of options there.
Right.
All right, let's dress this delicious take on Maryland.
OK.
OK, so the guinea fowl, we're going to carve.
I'll get you a spoon for that. So is this a recipe from your restaurant then, or is this... Because you've got a new book you're working on, aren't you? Really?
I'm working on a new book, yeah. This is in the old book, but this is mainly for you, this is. I thought to myself...
For me?
Yeah, because I like to come on Saturday Kitchen, I like to challenge myself.
And also challenge me, by the sounds of things.
I think so. Right, so, yeah, I'm working on a new book at the moment, which is out... Well, my handwriting's not that great, so it's probably going to be out next year sometime. Right, OK, so the bananas, and as you can see, the banana's gone all gooey, and the natural sugars are sort of releasing there. I have a little spoonful of this.
Seasoned it. Yeah.
Seasoned it, thank you, James. So that's been glazed up with the syrup.
Yeah.
And our breast of guinea fowl there. Again, chicken, pheasant. Pheasant would be fantastic for this. Our sweet corn puree, which you've blitzed, and we've got one that's already sort of made here. You can spoon it on if you want, but...
And that's got the cauliflower. What's that, to give it stability-wise?
To give it the stability and the consistency. And then the only thing that adds Maryland is the cream thickened gravy, which I'm going to sauce now. So, there we are.
Looks great, doesn't it?
And then it's beautiful, and it's just Maryland has just been purnelled.
So give us the name of this dish then.
So this is guinea fowl Maryland with deep-fried dangerous banana and a creamy sweet corn puree.
It certainly is.
Dane's on the plate.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Right, OK.
It's a first. Right. Dive into that one.
Fantastic.
First for you to try this as well, so...
The first person in history to try this.
But, yeah, that's what you think. But...
You don't have to eat the banana.
Well, you know, this is... I'm not going to start slagging it off before I've even tried it.
Taste the sweet corn as well, because it's... What do you reckon?
It's got that nice spice on it.
Yeah.
It brings me in the middle.
Giddy fell?
It is delicious. I was expecting it to be pudding. You know, this is putting syrup and fruit in your dinner. I don't know, from an old-fashioned place, but it's no. Of course, it's amazing.
It is really good.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Right. There's too much fruit in there for you, I think, more than anything else. Well, what do you reckon?
I thought it was nice with the sweetness. There's a lot of sweetness going on. This is quite acidic and yeah, it's got like a crispness to it. I really like it.
There's a lot of people on social media saying that, do I smell like burnt butter? But you can...
It's almost like, like crackling and butter.
Thank you very much.
I've got a little bit of butter coming through there.
Exactly. What do you reckon?
Yeah, once you get over the singed TV presenter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
not bad, though, is it?
Yeah, fantastic. Really nice married together.
There you go. Yeah. As I said before, you couldn't rehearse that, could you?
Yeah, couldn't. No,
yeah, good job as well. Coming up, Kim has a stunning sea bass recipe to share with us. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be doing a wild sea bass on Poppiette
Yeah.
with some pumpkin, mussels, and a clementine hollandaise.
No flambe in that one. And don't forget, you could ask either our chefs a question if you call us now on this number. That's 033 0123 1410. That's 033 0123 1410. Or you can tweet your questions now using hashtag #SaturdayKitchen. One of my favourite soups to make at this time of the year is a carrot and coriander soup, and thought I'd show you how to make it. But I'm going to do it with a little crab beignet, really little crab fritters, really simple. Everything that you like, really. No fruit in this, so you don't have to worry about it. So the first thing we do is obviously get our carrots on. Now, I'm going to try and do this in real time. Well, I say try and do, I've got to do, because I've got nothing prepared beforehand. So we're going to chop the carrots nice and fine, get those in, and then basically they're going to go in the pan with a bit of onion, but the predominant is just basically the flavour of the carrots. That's what we want. And we're going to use the stalks from the coriander as well. So the first thing we get in the pan, a little bit of butter straight in there. Then we'll get all the ingredients in. In we go with everything else. Now at the same time, we'll then get our stock, which we've got in here. This is a bit of veg stock. We'll get this boiling. So just get this nice and hot. I'm going to add some more carrots to this as it cooks. Now, first of all, congratulations on your career, because, you know, I was reading about you yesterday. I mean, for a career that's gone into acting, that you've had no formal training, because when most actors sit here, they've been to college, universities, acting schools. You never did any of that.
It occurred to me that I wanted to be an actor really late on in my life. Like, usually with actors, it's a vocation. They've known what they wanted to do since they were born. But it didn't occur to me till I was like late teens, early 20s, and I couldn't stand the idea of going back to school. So I went out on the stand-up circuit and did the cabaret circuit for years, and that was my training. Now,
that's quite interesting, because you got a story about Birmingham as well. Didn't Birmingham produce one of your worst-ever comedy gigs?
Well, yeah, the life of a stand-up, you have to go through the bad gigs, and I had many of them, believe me, but the one that sticks out was in Birmingham, and...
We're a tough crowd, you know?
Yeah.
We're a tough crowd.
And it involved food as well, because the act just before me on the bill was doing he was an illusionist, and he was doing some sort of a gross illusion where he pulled out organs from his body. And
right.
And
is he still around or not?
I don't know. But he was. So there was bits of raw liver lying around the venue.
Nice.
And so people started to pelt me with raw liver. And I've always been a big fan of offal, but yeah. So
Funny you should tell it, because actually I've got a piece of liver in my pocket right now. It's dripping down the side of my leg.
Right, we're going to do these little crab beignets, which you basically just flour. It's basically like a choux pastry. So you've got butter, you've got water, you've got flour. We're going to add some crab to it, a bit of paprika, and then add the crab meat and basically fry that. The carrot soup, we're just boiling up. That'll take about another couple of minutes. And then basically in here, we add the eggs, exactly like a choux pastry, really, but with the addition of crab and a little bit of paprika as well. But I said from comedy, you then you ended up in The Office. So how did that transition come about? Because the original part for you was not for somebody like you.
Apparently, yeah. I've heard Ricky and Stephen say that they wrote the part of Gareth for a much more macho kind of guy, an army guy. Anyway, and I came along and did my audition, and they decided to go with someone not quite so macho.
Because that was huge, but following on from that, to go from something like The Office to then do something like Pirates of the Caribbean, you then become a global name. Well, that's Hollywood. That's what was that like? Was that transition? Because it was almost instant, wasn't it?
Well, there was. I did the first Pirates of the Caribbean in between the two series of The Office. So yeah, I mean that was mad to go from such a low budget TV thing to this, this massive blockbuster. It was quite an eye opener, but incredible experience.
And then nowadays you're busy doing so many different bits and pieces. You said that you didn't want to act when you were a kid. You wanted to be a graphic designer,
right?
But you're involved in making illustrations for kids. Books as well.
Well, yeah, I've written a couple of children's books, short children's novels, which I illustrated, and yeah, it's this amazing thing that in my career, lots of doors have opened, and I found myself in a position to write a children's book and illustrate it, which it's great that all of those things happen.
And of course, you put in pen to paper as well. Series 2. Well, you can tell us about it.
Detectress is my...
Tell us about this one.
Well, it's my baby. It's this sitcom that we made the first series last year, and it was. It won 2 BAFTAs. It was an incredible success, and so the second series is now going out on BBC4 Thursdays at 10 o'clock with 3 episodes into it, and yeah, it seems to be going down very well.
Because the premise of it is it's based on that as a hobby, but it doesn't take the mick out of it as a hobby.
Metal detecting, yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's about these characters, these middle-aged guys. They're best friends. Me and Toby Jones play the characters, and they just happen to share this hobby of metal detecting, and I don't know. It could easily have been bird watching or fishing or another of those sort of lonely hobbies, but I just settled on metal detecting.
Because I mean, is it something that you're into or not? Because it's quite fascinating. I was reading about you as well, but your dad got into. He used to collect coins, and you just, as a kid, you thought, why is he doing that?
Yeah. And then recently I've suddenly come to realise what it was, and I can't put my finger on it, but it's an age thing. I suddenly came of age.
And you started collecting them?
Now I'm a coin collector as well. But no, I wasn't into metal detecting before I wrote the series, but I've since become fascinated by it. I was just interested by the sort of people that go out and spend these lonely weekends staring at the ground, trudging up and down fields, hoping to find something from the past. And yeah, they're a fascinating bunch. Right,
well, there's the little crab. That's the choux pastry, and then rather than obviously cook it in the oven like you would normally do with normal choux tomato eclairs, what you then do is deep fry it. This is a lot safer than Glynn's dish, actually, this one. But you then...
I feel that sometimes, James, you do need an element of danger.
Yes.
When cooking. Obviously in the safety of your own home.
I'm glad you do as well, but this is just going to get popped in there. We're going to basically deep fry it. These take about a couple of minutes, and at the same time, I'll just basically take the soup and we'll just blitz it as well. But of all the things you've done, what are the things you enjoy most? Because it seems to me that this is, because it's your baby, this is very personal to you as well. You've almost, I'd say, not got to make it work, but...
Yeah, I mean, I've had such a fortunate time in my career. Things have just sort of slotted in one after the other, but I've always been sort of aware that it could all end at any moment. And so this Detectress was an exercise in creating something from scratch, and I'd intended to do it for years, and I finally did it. But apart from Detectress, theatre work has been the most fulfilling, really, for me.
Because I mean, a lot of people don't know you, but you did check off the Seagull as well. You've been doing the West End as well. That's still your passion, even though you're not a trained actor. That's still your passion.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm coming to theatre late because of my odd way of getting in through the cabaret circuit into TV, film, and because I didn't train at drama school, I feel like I'm missing that knowledge of theatre and plays and playwrights. So I'm just only now learning that.
So it's almost like still a learning school for you even now.
Absolutely, yeah, all the time, yeah.
Right, we've got beignets nearly there. The soup, we're just going to blitz. That's got everything in it. You need to take the soup down a bit. You can add a touch of cream, whatever. But what we're going to do is then just add a little bit of butter, of course. Just a touch. In there. The beignets are now, these little fritters are done. Put these out. We can then black pepper in here. Turn that off, and then we can then basically lift this out, and that's your nice little crab and coriander soup. So if people want to tune into this, we're about what two shows in for the new series, the second series.
The third episode went out last Thursday, so yeah, but it's all there on iPlayer for people to catch up.
There you go, on BBC4.
Yes.
There you go. Right. So that's your soup. I'll just basically have a quick season this up because. I don't know about you guys, but I think soup requires a bit more salt than you think.
Yeah, a bit more salt. I mean, also working with carrots, could you put cumin in there as well? Could you as a background
I have done, boss. You're clearly not watching at this point. But yeah, there's a little bit gone in there.
Oh,
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, so it hasn't actually been Purnelled, this one. It's just been
Souped.
left, yeah. But you've got your nice little soup, like that. Because Glynn's here and he's got a fancy Michelin star and all that sort of stuff, I thought I'd basically just take a little bit of cream. We can do that, like that. And then a touch of oil. Tiny bit of oil on here. There you go. This is just a little bit of rapeseed oil, just for colour.
And then a banana.
And no banana. And then you put some of these nice little crab beignets and then some coriander on the top. Touch of that. Coriander has gone into the soup as well. And there you have carrot and coriander soup in 7.5 minutes, I've been told. That's all right, that's all right, that's all right.
Amazing.
Happy with that?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. Right, so what we're making for Mackenzie at the end of the show, it could be facing food heaven. That lobster, the lobster is used to fill a tortellini along with some fresh basil, a little bit of chives and a sauce made from some stock, brandy, cream, herbs and veg, topped with some chopped tomato, chives and some samphire. Or it could be food hell, a classic fruit pudding, in this case a steamed apple sponge with custard. I'm going to make a mixture of Bramley apples and golden syrup, use that in the base of our sponge pudding, and then top it with a classic vanilla and lemon sponge, and it's steamed for a couple of hours and served with plenty of custard and a plum and pear compote to go with it. As usual, it's down to our guests in the studio and some of our viewers to decide. You can see the result at the end of the show. There you go. We learn something new about Mary and Maryland every week.
It's all about Mary, Chef.
It is. There you go. This one gets a lot worse, but it doesn't mean that Kim and Glynn can escape the demands of the Saturday Kitchen Omelette Challenge. It's alarming how few chefs are able to make a simple 3-egg omelette under pressure. So let this be a wake-up call for Glynn and Kim, and I won't accept any substandard results, even though it's an hour earlier than usual. That was one too many, did you?
Too many. Over-egged it, James. Over-egged it.
There you go. Right, now will Mackenzie get his idea of food heaven? That lobster tortellini or food hell, a steamed apple sponge pudding and custard. You can see what he ends up with at the end of the show. Right, cooking next is a woman currently running the kitchens at the Savoy Grill in London, the former home of a certain Auguste Escoffier, no less. And if you don't know who he is, Google him. It's the brilliant Kim Woodward. Great to have you in the show, Kim.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the job.
Thank you.
What, the first woman chef cooking there, 126 years it's been running?
That's correct.
Amazing responsibility there as well.
It is. I think it's time for a woman to take over.
Exactly. So what are we going to be doing then? What are we making?
So I'm going to be doing a wild sea bass en papiette.
Yes.
So it'll be in the bag with some pumpkin, some sea vegetables, and a clementine hollandaise and some fresh mussels.
And some fresh mussels go with it. So the first thing we're going to do is the en papiette bit. So first of all, you're going to use the pumpkin for this. You want this diced
I want
up.
the pumpkin diced, and what I'm going to do is start a little bit of a reduction for the hollandaise.
Now, the place itself, obviously, the Savoy, hugely famous all over the world. But this restaurant, I mean, for a chef, this is probably one of the most famous restaurants in Britain, isn't it, really, this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we look at it as, you know, the most iconic in London. And for us, it is about, you know, people go there for great celebrations. It's about the theatre that we can deliver for the customer experience. So we do, like, the tableside, carving at the table, the beef Wellington, the Chateaubriand, the Dover sole, and then for us, anything up to the flambe, the crepe Suzette.
Because a lot of the classic dishes were invented there, weren't they, really? Things like, well, the Arnold Bennett omelette and all that kind of stuff, they were all invented there.
They were all invented, the peach Melba, all the classics.
So I don't suppose you can't change those dishes, surely. You've got to leave those traditional, but you can then start adding your own influences elsewhere, can you?
That's it. So what I'm doing there is I'm keeping a lot of the classics, but then doing a nice modern interpretation of them, bringing them more up to date.
Okay.
So...
Right, so we'll lose this out of the way. So this is pumpkin. You could use some squash for this, possibly, as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic right now.
Okay. Right, and then, obviously, you've got... This is the old en papiette bit.
So this is the en papiette, yeah.
Okay. Now, you want me to chop up some shallots ready for you as well?
Yep, for the mussels.
Now, the hollandaise, you made a little reduction, which is the clementines and white wine?
Yeah, the juice, white wine, and a little bit of vinegar as well.
Okay. There you go. Now, you mentioned that at the table. You kind of do a lot of the still filleting the fish at the table, the waiter does all that, that kind of stuff. It's the theatre side of it.
It is. It's something that we play quite big on, especially it is about the experience that the diner's going to have. I mean, the theatre is what makes the Savoy grill.
Yeah. Right, the bit that you're going to be doing is the bit that I'm going to be putting in the oven now. So we've got some oil here.
Perfect.
This is the fish.
That's right.
So this is going to go into the... This is hot oil. It's quite unusual you're doing this in hot oil.
Yeah, it's a great way for the whole bag, and it's all about the presentation, because when you're in the dining room, you want to feel the wow factor, and this is what's going to happen.
But the oil stops the paper sticking.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. Take the whole lot straight in the oven. So this is going to cook for about 4.5 minutes, roughly. Now, of course, all of today's studio recipes, including this one, are on our website. Go to bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. There you go. Right.
So what I'm actually putting in the bag is the sea beets, sea aster, a little bit of fresh dill, the pumpkin's going in right now, and then also the zest of the clementine.
So is this currently on the menu then? I suppose it is, isn't it?
So the sea bass and popia is on the menu, and for me it is about just changing around with obviously the seasons, but this one is actually going on next week.
And what about yourself? How did you end up at the Savoy then? Where does your career come from?
So I've been cooking for about 18 years now.
Yeah.
And for me it was always a big passion to, you know, cooking, and when I joined the Gordon Ramsay group, I've been there over 9 years now.
Yeah.
So I've been working around the restaurants, and for me it's always about just developing myself as a chef. The Savoy's always been my favourite. I was there in 2010.
It is iconic, isn't it?
It is. It's, you know, it's a beautiful room.
Right, can you explain what we're doing here then? What's happening here?
So this is what I'm creating the bag. So I'm just folding around the edges of the paper, and I'm going to put a little bit of fish stock in there.
Right, we've got a little bit of that. And then you want some white wine and some shallots.
For the mussels, yeah.
With the mussels, all right.
So I'm just going to fold this up, and then... Have you seen a stapler anywhere?
A stapler? No.
Well, I need a stapler. Well, there was one here earlier.
Glynn?
Oh, what is that?
There's my stapler.
Right, that's it. James, give him a warning.
There it is.
Well, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either.
Thank you.
For fans of The Office, that one, they'll get it. Right.
So we're just going to put a little bit of staple in the edge. It's just to hold it. Thank you very much.
Can I have a spoon, please?
Can you have a spoon?
I'll dig it out for you.
Right.
So,
Right, so the mussels are on.
mussels are on. Next, I'm going to start cracking the eggs for the hollandaise.
Cheers, chef.
Now, that's a fantastic dish you can make and keep it in the fridge for if you're doing a dinner party, particularly
You can actually do it the day before,
Yeah.
but yeah, when it's coming up, you can use a whole baked fish as well.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice addition.
Is this going down as one of the dishes of the day?
Have you got a wine to go with the stapler?
Right, so this is the hollandaise then. So
Yep. So we're
you want
using
this
a
bowl off
lovely...
here.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're just using just the egg yolks.
Yeah. Now, normally in hollandaise, you've got a reduction of vinegar and bits and pieces. You've actually got the reduction of the...
Of the clementines with the vinegar. Add a little bit of extra kick to it.
Okay. And then we've got the mussels just opening up here.
Perfect.
Okay.
Dave, just a question for you, just a personal note. You know, is this jelly part of a staple diet?
Wow.
You must be able to pick this up.
Sorry.
I think he's fishing for work, I think. That's what he's doing. Right, so we've got the mussels here.
Perfect.
There you go. Right, now...
So if you can segment the clementine.
I can do that, yeah.
I'm just finishing this off.
So you can explain what's happening here then. How do you...
So whisking the egg whites only over just boiling water. These are going to start doubling in size, go nice light and fluffy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to fold in the reduction.
So this is the reduction that we've got, but then you've got the cold one here. So
Yep.
Yeah. Right, I'll leave that to one side.
And then a little bit of clarified butter on. So butter that's had all the
But
milk
it is
been
important to
removed.
leave it to go cold, isn't it, really? Otherwise it just splits and separates and you end up with a big mess.
That's it. You have to do it pretty fast. Keep going. You can't stop, really.
Right, these are the clementines as well. So how many people are in the kitchen then at the Savoy? It's often amazing me, these big hotels. How many have you got?
So it's a really big team, of about 30 to 35 right now.
Right.
So,
But in the whole hotel, I mean, it must be just immense.
oh, the hotel must have about 500, but obviously we're
One part of it.
one part of it, yeah. We're in the hotel.
Yeah.
So,
Right, I'll take the fish out. You can see now what happens. As good as that. Right, and then you're going to finish off with this. Do you want me to finish that off and you can do this?
yeah.
There you go. It's
That can
very,
go right
very
here.
hot.
Just going to lift this off.
There you go. Leave that to one side.
And Kim, you take that goes out into the restaurant like that, gets opened up in front of the customer.
So we take it straight out, so it's nice and big, and what we're looking for is the aroma right here, which is going to infuse into the whole entire restaurant. And that's what for us is all about the theatre.
Yeah. It smells, you can smell it from here, it smells amazing.
I'm going to turn that off because I'm actually burning my other hand, to be honest. But... Right, so this is the old hollandaise. Now, there is actually a classic one, which is it Maltese, the blood oranges? That's
Yeah,
the-
Maltese blood oranges, yeah, and you finish it with the julienne of the skin as well.
There
Just
you go.
throw that out there.
Yeah. And then we basically just want to slacken this down with a little bit of this reduction.
That's right. So these mussels, nice and beautiful right now, in season.
There you go. And then you want to add bits and pieces to this, so I'll let you add whatever you want to this.
Perfect.
There you go.
So into this, I'm just going to put a bit of the fresh clementine, bit of parsley and dill.
Yep. And that's it, just like that. I mean, it's just so fresh and nice and simple. Do you
And
want a
then
little
this,
bit more?
I'm going to add a little bit of Tabasco,
Right, to give it a
a little
kick.
bit of kick. So then you've got obviously the sweet, nice bit of spice to it. And for this, it kind of elevates the dish a lot.
There we go. So, give us the name of this dish then.
So it's a wild sea bass en papier, pumpkin, mussels, and a clementine hollandaise.
How good does that look? And I'll carry it over. And then you get to dive into this one as well. You might not want that's got fruit in it, but you can take it.
What's happened today? It's just fruit
It's all
everywhere.
going so well, and then
Clearly didn't
clementines.
read the brief, these lot. I don't know. But dive into that, tell me what you think. But the fish is so delicate as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it needs to be something as beautiful as this sea bass. I mean, it's stunning.
And by just putting it in the pan with the oil, it just speeds up the cooking time also. But 5 minutes, that's all
Definitely
it takes.
5 minutes and it's that quick.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's
It's great, isn't it? That?
Yeah.
There you go. Certainly is. This is fantastic, do you think?
Absolutely. It goes fantastic with the dish.
Yeah. Really nice, nice and fresh.
For me, the wine, the fruitiness and the acidity with the spice of the Tabasco.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Happy with that?
yeah, everything that Susan said. I was going to say.
There you go. There'll be more from Si and Dave next week. Right, it's time to answer some of your foodie questions. Each caller is also going to have decide what Mackenzie will be eating at the end of the show. So first on the line, I think we've got Chris from Devon. Are you there, Chris?
Yeah, hi, James.
Hi there, morning to you. What's your question for us?
Yeah, well, I've got a joint of beef brisket, and
Yeah.
I usually cook it with, slow cook it with some carrots and swede and onion. I was just wondering whether the chefs could give me an idea of how I could spice up Sunday lunch and do something a bit different with it.
Oh, do you want to take that one? Beef
Yeah, I
brisket?
haven't got the solution for the Sunday because obviously that's the best way to cook it.
Yeah.
But for me, if you brine it for 3 days with some spices, some cinnamon, some mace, a little bit of nutmeg, some peppers, brine it for 3 days, take it out, then braise it, scrape off the fat, chop the meat, and then put the fat back into it, and you make your own corned beef. set it up,
That's
set
a
it
bit
in the fridge,
fancy, yeah.
and it's so simple.
If you want to spice it up, you could do a rendang or something like that with it as well.
Yeah, you could, yeah, cook it in the coconut and stuff. That'd be fantastic.
Cook it for a really long time, and then basically shred it all up, or even chop it up and basically cook it as chunks in a rendang. That would be really nice. There you go. What dish would you like to see? Heaven or hell?
Well, I'm a massive fan of Mackenzie and his series, The Detectorists, and
Thank you.
has to be heaven,
That's
as far as I'm concerned.
Well, there you go. Have a good day.
Cheers,
Could
Chris.
I just ask, James, if I could possibly have a signed photo from Mackenzie, please?
You can do, yeah, absolutely.
Can he?
Can he?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Right. You've been tweeting all morning, so what's your first one, Mackenzie?
I've got one from Sean Brown who says, with Christmas approaching, what's the best way to cook sprouts so everyone will try them?
Now, I'm going to take that one. So you're not a fan, are you, really?
I don't like sprouts.
I'll take that one. My personal tip would be basically to shred them, and then in a pan with some butter, some water, and you create an emulsion. Then add the sprouts with it as well. If you want to add some crispy bacon, cook that separately, add it to it. But also chestnuts. Obviously, this time of year, you can actually buy them in a can.
Yeah.
They're basically just, they call them sous vide. They're basically in a bag. You can get the chestnuts, which you can slice and add those to it. Plenty of black pepper as well is what sprouts need, but don't overcook them. That's the key to it. But mine would be to shred them up and fry them off in a pan, but not just in butter and water. It creates a nice emulsion with it as well. There you go. You got another one?
Yes, from Warby. Can someone explain why pavlova cracks and sinks? What have I done wrong?
Do you want to take that one?
So pavlova, I mean, it's all about the egg whites, the sugar, actually whipping it stiff enough.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't, it's going to actually fall down as well. And then once you've actually piped it, you're going to have to pipe the pavlova and let it rest before putting it straight into the oven.
Yeah.
If you put it in straight away, it isn't actually going to collapse straight away.
That's the key to it
So
as
it's
well,
about
isn't it?
resting it, getting that crack around the outside, and then it will actually...
And use caster sugar, not granulated sugar.
Yeah, and also a little pinch of salt or even like a tiny splash of vinegar sometimes
yeah.
stiffens up the
There you
whites.
go. Right, let's go back to the phones. It's Leslie from Cumbria. Are you there, Leslie?
Yes.
Hi there. What's your question for us?
I'd like a recipe, please, for a pig's cheek.
Yeah. Pig's cheek. Who wants to take that one? They're fantastic.
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pig's cheeks, sage, cider, apple, right now quite wintry, braise them down about 1 or 2 hours.
A little bit of flour.
A little bit of can do flour or not, bit of chicken stock, veal, the
Yeah.
garlic, and serve them braised. It's beautiful this time of the year.
They want long, slow cooking, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose James was saying about the flavours. Obviously, if you want to use it as a sauce, that's almost thickens it into the pan as well, but that's an option. You can thicken it afterwards if you want.
There you go. So what dish would you like to see? Food heaven or food hell?
Well, I'm very, very sorry for Mackenzie. It's got to be food hell.
Oh,
And I don't expect him to be sending me a signed photograph.
all right. Not after that, anyway. So,
Seems to actually enjoy that bit of banana.
oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so it's Vanessa from Suffolk. You there, Vanessa?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi there. What's your question for us?
I often have spare egg whites and I don't want to waste them, but are there any savoury dishes I can make with the whites but no yolks?
Egg whites, both of you.
For me, normally you would go straight away, you'd make a meringue out of it, or you'd
Yep.
make some out of it. But for me, if you mix with heavy rock salt, if you mix the egg whites with the rock salt, and then lay carrots down, or celeriac, or a root vegetable, cover them with the egg whites and the salts, and then bake them, you get beautiful salt-baked vegetables.
Fabulous. It's great, obviously, in consomme as well, isn't it? It's a dish that we don't often make, really,
Exactly.
but it's just veg in a pan with a little bit of beef mixed together, and then you put the egg whites through it, put the stock on it, and then bring it to the boil, and the egg whites clarify that.
That clarification,
Lovely
fantastic.
soup. There you go. Well, you've got 2 dishes there. What dish would you like to see, heaven or hell?
I don't like lobster, so hell, please.
Right. It's going well, isn't it, really? There you go. Right, it's time for the Omelette Challenge. Glynn, you're 19.2 seconds. Used to be in the top 10, now 11th
Yeah.
position.
Ghastly
So, Kim, who would
business.
you like to beat on our board?
Glynn.
Oh, really? Aiming quite high. So you've got,
aggressive, wasn't it,
you've
really,
got
for your first
red
time,
hot
huh?
pans there.
They are
So
hot.
let's put the clocks on the screens, please. Are you both ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. That was seriously quick. Have you been practicing? Yeah.
Of course you've been practising, Chef. And you've been practising to eat that for the last 10 years, haven't you?
Yeah.
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 There you go.
Now, At the Savoy, they do a classic omelette Arnold Bennett that's been around for years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Looks like it's been stamped on by Arnold.
Right. Right. Kim. You wanted to beat Glynn.
I did.
You did beat it.
Woo!
You beat it. 19.10 seconds. However, Glynn, were you faster?
I should make the pan there, because it was so gutty when I got knocked off 2 weeks ago. I've been cruising around saying, I'm in the pan, I'm in the pan.
Did you make the pan?
Instead of cruising around, can you take a photograph of yourself? I know Mackenzie were on about photographs, but we've got this one.
What, like 12 am I there?
He was about 12 years old, yeah. Right, so you wanted to beat...
Myself, just beat myself.
You didn't. You did it in 19.41 seconds, which leaves you right there. So unfortunately...
Wow done.
Right, so Mackenzie get his idea of food heaven, that lobster tortellini with seafood sauce, or food hell, steamed apple and golden syrup pudding with custard. Our chefs will make their choices whilst we head to... It's time to find out whether Mackenzie will be facing food heaven or food hell. Food heaven would be lobster, an amazing sort of dish with tortellini and a nice little sauce to go with it. Food hell would be all these sort of fruit mixed together into a steamed sponge pudding and custard. We know what our viewers wanted. Well, I'll certainly present each of them. 2-1. What did our chefs want? They had the kind of casting vote, really.
Right, OK.
You wanted to use the lobster, didn't you?
Yes.
So that was even Stevens. So
Yes.
is Glynn Purnell a pudding man or is he a lobster man?
I just thought, you know, we've had too much fruit on today. Let's go lobster.
He's a lobster. There you go. So that's what you got. So we'll lose this out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do is get our sauce on, first of all. So if I'm going to give Glynn the lobster to prepare, and then we're going to make this tortellini. So first of all, we're going to make our sauce. Very hot pan here, using the shells and everything that's left over. It's quite an unusual thing, this, because we actually use everything that you would normally throw away, like all the shells, dishes of meat. So we're going to use the entire lot. So a little bit of garlic, some onions, and then we're going to grab some fresh thyme in there as well. Now, for anybody that's just tuning in, they've probably missed half of the show anyway, because we're usually on at 10 o'clock, but if anybody's just tuning in, you've got a new series out. Well, it's the second series.
The second series of, it's called Detectorists. It's on BBC4 on a Thursday at 10 o'clock, about a couple of guys who enjoy metal detection.
And this is, you've done the whole thing. You've written it, you've starred in it.
Yeah, and I directed it as well. Yeah.
Right, keeping this away from Glynn this time, you see.
What's your eyebrow, chef?
Yeah, thank you very much for that one, yeah. So what's that like for you to be able to do a bit of jack of all trades? Because it must be quite...
It's been great. I've had the most brilliant couple of years, you know, getting involved and doing it all. So, yeah, it's been wonderful.
Right, so we've got that in there, and then all we're going to do is add some tomato puree to this. So you normally just throw these away, but you get some amazing taste out of this stuff. So a bit of tomato puree, and cook that out with the shells. Then we're going to add some stock in there, and then some double cream. We're going to make this into a nice set of sauce. A bit more stock in there, probably. There. Bring this to boil. Just cook this gently. So the guys are on with the tortellini, which you can explain what we've got in here. So we've got our pasta, which is flour, 00 flour, some eggs, semolina flour mixed together. We've rolled it out, and then Glynn can explain what's going in our little tortellini.
Right, so we've got some of the body of the lobster. I've kept the claws for you for garnish, James. And I'm going to mix that with some chives.
Yeah.
And a little bit of seasoning. There's the seasoning.
Out comes the tomatoes. These are little concassed tomatoes into ice cold water.
Seasoning
from
there.
cooking. And then out again. All right. So our nice little
And
tomatoes.
then Kimmy's rolled the pasta around. She's cut them into discs for us.
So we're part way through the second series, and you've got a Christmas special coming out
There's
as well.
a Christmas special on the 17th of December, also on BBC4. So, yeah, that's a sort of a standalone episode, which is great. And we've, in fact, still got a few days to film on that because we need to get some exteriors with no leaves on the trees, some winter exteriors.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right, we're not wasting any of this. Often you throw away the seeds and the skins from the tomatoes when you do a little bit of tomato concasse, but we're actually going to use it all like this, and basically just chop up the flesh like that, and then over here we then take this entire lot and throw it in our blender. Now this is the unusual thing, but
How hard you
we take the entire lot when it's hot and chuck the whole lot in here.
Yeah?
Yeah, the whole lot.
With the shells?
the shells. The whole sauce is made from the shells. Right? And then put the lid on, hopefully. There you go, and switch it on. Sometimes you need a new machine for Christmas afterwards, but yeah. It looks really weird, but take a real fine sieve for the next bit. All right. We got that. We got a samphire, which is this. It's often called sea asparagus. This stuff.
I love samphire. Samphire's amazing.
Get a little bit of that in there, and we're going to blanch that and then put it through a little bit of butter. So we're nearly there with our. There you go. And then we take our mixture. You pop this through a really fine sieve you want. And then you pass this through a sieve.
And you get no bits or, you know...
Not if the sieve's
bits.
fine enough, which this is. So you've got a bit of cloth there if you want to pass it through a cloth. It takes a little bit of time, but as long as you've got a fine sieve, just squeeze out all the mixture like that. You've got this amazing sauce. That's it. You squeeze it all out like that. Now,
Guys, samphire only takes, what?
30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds to a minute. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that out. And then that goes
in the way.
Into our pan here. Use that over one side. We then take it in our little pan here. A little bit of butter, using that one. And just saute all that lot together. Like that. Right, we've got some chopped chives for me as well, guys. A little bit of chopped chives. A few chopped chives.
I got some.
You got them?
So you've got your nice little... It's not really a soup, but it's just using the shells and everything else. We're going to finish that with butter. Do you want to season that up, Glynn, as well? That's all right. That's all right.
Kenzie, do you want to drop the pepper in for me? Give that a crack in there.
You've got me the lobster sauce, which is good. So the samphire, a bit of black pepper in here, please, as well, Chief. Thank you very much. You've got to work for your lunch, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
The team's trying to get in there.
That's going to make all the difference.
Lose that. Thank you very much. We've got our little samphire here. And then in this pan, can you season up that for me? That's all done, is it?
Yep, season it.
Happy with that? Then we go with the lobster. We're going to warm that up now. Now, you can explain what you've got inside your
So we've got the chopped tail meat, some chives, a little bit of seasoning, and we've folded them, Kim's crimped them around a little finger, which is a tortellini.
Yeah.
Cheese there, look.
But these are great because you can freeze these as well. So I'm making our vans freeze them. Just delicious. But it's the way of using up everything. You don't waste anything. Do you want to finish those in the sauce?
Yep. Ready to go?
There you go. Grab a spoon. Like that. Happy with that?
Yep. Cool.
There we go. And what we do is just grab our nice little tortellini. We'll lift these out. And they just sit on our plate there as well. Plenty of sauce, because I think you need plenty of sauce in there.
Oh, yeah. You've got all the shells now in there.
Yeah. And then, if you haven't got, obviously, enough shells, you can freeze these and just use them when you've got enough. Take that out of the freezer when you've got enough. But I'm going to take that off. Put them there. Little spoon. And then, Glynn, if you can grab some knives and forks, that would be great.
Will, James.
And then we've got some samphire. Just place on there. It's a little bit of chopped. We'll put that nice little lobster on it. A few chopped chives over the top. And there you have it. Lobster tortellini with little samphire and some tomato. Dive in.
That does look like my ideal dish.
And if you're Glynn Purnell, you can do that. There you go. A little sprig of basil over the top.
Yeah.
And to go with this, Susie's chosen the finest Pecorino 2014 from Tesco's, priced at £6.25. As well to go with it. How's the sauce?
Incredible. That's incredible. I've never heard of that blending up the shells as well. That's, yeah.
Well, they have a classic dish in Marseille called a bouillabaisse, which is, a lot of people think it's actually shellfish, don't they? I've actually seen it being made. It's not no shellfish in it. It's just, eel and everything, all manner of different sort of stuff that they put the whole lot in and then pass it through a sieve. But that would be classically a little lobster beast, but you use the shells, but you get so much flavour from it as well. Happy with that?
Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
There you go. We all end up with a glass of wine at the end of it. This is why I love this show. That's all for today on Saturday Kitchen Live. Thanks to Glynn Purnell, Kim Woodward, and the brilliant Mackenzie Crook. Best of luck with the new series. Cheers to Susie Barry for the wine choices. And remember, all the recipes from today's show are simply on our website, bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. There's more Best Bites tomorrow morning over on BBC Two at 9:30. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Bye for now.